Okay. Hi, Parker. How are you doing?
Hey Peter, how's it going, man?
Thank you for doing this interview for me.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to help.
Yeah,
Hope you can do mine for me too.
of course, of course. So let's get started. The first question is, what was the first impression of me in the class and why? Like when you first saw me.
So, I mean, for me personally, I'm not very aware of my surroundings. Like, I don't even think I noticed you until we got paired up together for, I think it was 21 ideas that we needed to come up with for something. I completely forget what it was.
Yeah. I think that was it.
Do you remember what we were trying to come up with though?
I think it was the what was that called? The toy that the kids play usually with the.
Oh yeah. All right. Anyways, that's kind of unimportant. I think, and the first thing I noticed too was we got paired up. Your name was Peter. My name was Parker.
Yeah.
Which obviously together we make Peter Parker, which is iconic and
Yeah.
super sick because of Spider-Man. So I was like, oh, that's chill. Like I'm gonna totally vibe with this kid. And from there, I mean, I don't really like to like go into, you know, meeting new people with expectations or like judging or anything like that. So, I mean, I didn't really have a first impression other than, you know, meeting you and then getting to start on that list. Um, but I thought that, you know, we worked well from the jump there, just in like the way that, you know, like you were respectful of my ideas, I was respectful of yours, but also we had a lot of like similar energy in the sense where it wasn't like some of the ideas that I would come up with were some ideas that you would come up with as well. So it wasn't like I had an idea and you would completely shut it down or anything like that. So I think that's one of the things I first noticed was like how easy it was to get along with you, even though I'd never met you before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Um, it was also really easy to talk to you since you're really um, outgoing and nice. Well, that was my first impression of you. So,
I try my best to be, but depends on the day, honestly.
yeah. Okay, so next one would be, do you think I'm suitable to take this class and why? Like, I can still remember when um, Miss Weimer scares off lot of kids to just drop the class because she said the first thing she said in the class was she's a monster and this guy's gonna be challenging and a lot of work to do whatever. But anyway, what do you think of me like being in this class and why?
As someone that's had her before, I think the whole way that you know that you're suitable is that she said that for 3 classes straight,
Yeah.
and you weren't intimidated by the idea of having to put in extra work, the idea of having to go outside of like the previous ways that you think. Um, I think that kind of in itself says enough on whether or not you're suitable for the class. I think really you're capable of doing whatever you put your mind to, I guess. I mean, from the first interaction we had, making those 21 ideas to our power play together, like I would say, you're more than suitable. I think it's just really like an effort thing, honestly, and like the ability to, be okay with learning in a way that you typically haven't in the past, but because you're able to do that, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, because the only reason I have this question is because she said a lot of the like directors and the analysts dropped the class. Um, like the two of the social styles.
Oh, you're talking the drivers and the analysts, yeah.
Yeah. They dropped like they usually those who drop the class are those from those two social styles. So yeah. Um, okay. So next question would be, uh, how did it do on our power play one presentation? Be
The only
specific.
no, The only thing I'm upset about, Peter, is that we didn't get first place, man.
Yeah, yeah, I
Which
know, right?
I still don't actually even know. Do you know who got first place?
I have no idea. Like, I don't think that's something that we're allowed to know because we'll like that group will be judged so heavily based on
Yeah, I didn't even know that we had gotten second place until we were doing that scavenger hunt. And some girls had asked me what place we got because they thought we did a really good job, and I was like, oh, I guess I can check. Found out we got second. So I think first off, in the results of the power play, I would say, I think you did a great job. I think we all really worked well together as a team, considering we didn't even really have all four social stats. We didn't have an analytical in our group, but I thought like together as a group, we were able to add where other people didn't, and I thought you really carried in certain sections with like a lot of different creativity. Like I think for myself personally, I have a ton of ideas, and I think I shared like a lot of them, and that's how we ended up coming up with like the coin ring and whatnot. But you were able to take, my ideas, not shut them down, kind of agree with them, and then further develop them into, something that was better. So like, I mean, I had a great idea to make it into that coin ring, but then from there you kind of just ran with it into the skit that you did with RJ. And yeah, I think, for that, I'm only as good as like the people that I surround myself with. So having people like you, like RJ, like Kismet, that can kind of further develop those ideas, especially when like for me as an expressive, I'm very easy to move on from ideas quickly. But having you guys that were not only supportive of my idea, but continue to help me push it, I think was really beneficial and something that I definitely enjoyed working on the project with you.
yeah. It was such a fun time we had working on that coin. Um,
The Eco Coin,
yeah.
the next greatest smart wallet wearable.
Do you know what's RJ's social style? Amiable.
I'm pretty sure he's also amiable.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I think at least. I know he's not analytical, and I know Kismet was the driver. He might have honestly been expressive. No, I feel like he's definitely amiable. I don't think he was expressive. I honestly don't know though.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah, because he's kind of quiet. It's not expressive at all. Um. So next one would be assume you don't know my social style. Which one of the social styles do you think I am based on our interactions, and why?
So I was kind of when I read this question, I actually didn't even know what social style you were. So I was going back and forth between analytical and amiable. I started off thinking that you were analytical uh, because from the first time that I had met you, you were definitely a lot more reserved. So I kind of had to pull out um, your involvement with me. But the more I thought about it, like it wasn't really that hard to get along with you or like get you kind of out of your shell. And I kind of figured like as an amiable person, you kind of just like I said earlier, you kind of like help build upon those ideas. And I didn't think you were as quiet and reserved. You kind of just like what you did say actually, was of influence. And like it wasn't just saying something to say something. I'm trying to think what else.
So I wouldn't be in expressive.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, there's definitely parts of you that I would. I mean, once you warmed up to like us as a group, I would definitely say you were a little bit expressive as well. Just because, I mean, like the skit itself, I feel like that's like a very expressive, outgoing thing to do. But I just think you're like very friendly, pleasant. Whether it was the scavenger hunt that we were doing or the group project, whatever it was, like you were always a good presence to be around, and therefore you were able to contribute to the group well.
Yeah, actually, one of my best friends from SU is definitely a analytical.
Really?
Yeah, um, he's a data analysis major. So
Yeah, that'll happen for sure.
yeah,
I'm trying to think what else I could add on, um, like your social style. I think like you definitely didn't hold back on kind of displaying your feelings when we were doing group work. Um, like I said earlier, very agreeable on a lot of the stuff that we were doing, and kind of just easygoing. Like you were really easygoing and going with the flow on all of the ideas that I had. You weren't really demanding of anything of your own, but you were able to, take what I had and still contribute in a way that was, beneficial as a team, helping us get to like a second place finish.
cool. All right. Um, Next question. After knowing my social style, are there any necessary changes in order to interact with the classwork in terms of getting a good grade in this class, and why? Do you think?
I mean, that's hard to say because I think it like you can find a way to use your social style to do great work, especially when we're in so much group work like we've been in.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really think that there's anything like you need to necessarily do to adjust, other than like maybe individual work be more. Like I think being amiable, you're less assertive, and then in solo work, you have to be more assertive. So that's like the only thing that I would really
Mm-hmm.
add necessarily. Um, yeah, I think that's honestly it. I mean, from working with you multiple times at this point, I don't really see like anything distinct um, that would like need to be changed. Obviously, like there's always a need to be able to understand other social styles better
Mm-hmm.
and then use that to work to your advantage. But like,
Yeah,
I think you do a good job of being able to read people and then balance um, kind of what they are.
yeah. Sometimes working with people too much can cause me some stress, especially the interviews with my parents and then my previous boss later. Yeah, and then yeah, things like this sometimes would like gives me struggles. But
No,
yeah.
I feel that.
All right. Next one would be, what do you think Professor Weimer's first impression of me would be, and why? Like, remember when she asked me about the ice cream flavors, and yeah, that was interesting.
Wait, she asked you about ice cream flavors?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know. She asked me about like, what's my favorite flavor of ice cream? I guess.
Did you? Here's the first question I have for you. Actually, did you do the survey?
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't.
No.
Okay, so that's where we start with why, because I mean, so previously in my last class that I had with her, I didn't do the survey, so I'd known better. I knew there was going to be a survey. I knew I had to do it because if you don't do it, you get ripped, and in my case, if you do it, you still get ripped.
Okay.
So I think that obviously sets like a first precedent tone. But it's also, I mean, at the same time, it's senior year. Like I wasn't really in my emails until I had to be also. So I think that sets the tone for a first impression. Other than that, though, like I think she definitely just comes off as like like you said, she's trying to scare you out of the class. This that if you kind of get through that, it proves to her that like
I'm actually gonna take some
there, and therefore, if you want to be there, then I think you gain a lot of respect from her.
Mm-hmm.
So just like being able to do the work well, and not half doing it. I think that's kind of a lot of um, the kind of her first impression. I also don't think she's one to really you know kind of judge someone until she really gets to know them,
Mm-hmm.
even through the joking or not.
Yeah.
which I'm sure at first like that was a big surprise to you, and I don't even know. Like sometimes I still can't even read if she's joking or not, but um, it's just like, is she being for real? Like what's going on? Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
I would say she doesn't really have like biases or anything like that that I've been able to notice. So
Cool. Yeah, I agree. It's just that the first couple classes like really scares off some people, but I stayed, so that's good. So
and
next,
I think it's worth saying too. Like
yeah,
for me, I mean, I don't know if I told you what I'm doing after graduation, but I'm moving to San Diego and doing tech sales. Um, and like a lot of the classes that I'm taking, I'm just an entrepreneurship major now. A lot of the classes that I've taken these 4 years, knowing I kind of wanted to go into sales, haven't really been that beneficial in the development of like what I'm actually going to be doing. I'm just kind of here to get my piece of paper and leave. Where this is one of, I would say, the first classes where I've really been, challenged to kind of understand why I am a certain way, why I think the way that I do, how can I expand my thinking to think differently, think in new areas. And I think for that reason, like, I've been a lot more engaged than I have been in some of my other classes this semester, just because I actually do see the real benefit, of showing up to class, being present, that kind of thing.
cool. Okay, I think that kind of covers this next one. At this point of the semester, do you think there will be any changes to the answer to the last question and why? I mean, cause we don't know each other before this class, so everything I ask is about this class. um, so yeah, do you think there will be any changes of um
As far as like, are you
like
talking
based
about like
on my performance and how do you think I do on my assignment and all of my personalities? Do you think um like what would be my image in like Weimer's mind?
to be honest, I think I don't even know if this is necessarily connected to her, but I just think speaking for myself, um, I think it's going to be a big perspective changer, and just kind of the way that you do things and like how present you are in certain moments and the way you think about things will be a lot different. So, the way that you might do things now in the class is going to be different than the way you did,
Yeah.
in the first week, because you understand that it takes 21 ideas to come up with something that's actually good, or the traditional brainstorming ways aren't exactly uh, aren't exactly the best, most efficient way to do things. I think just from a productivity standpoint, um, it's going to be so much better for you in this class, and then just outside of this class as well, whether that's in the next chapter of your life, whatever job you decide to do, whatever it is. I think it just is preparing you. But I wouldn't say that like you know you're gonna change much, as far as like her perspective of you. I think that kind of already has been done. Like she may have seen you as somebody who was a little bit more reserved and sat in the back of the class at the beginning, and now she knows, kind of what your personality is, how you work in groups. She saw, how well we did as a team, stuff like that.
Cool. All right. Next one would be, in general, how did I do in this class, and what do you think I'm good at doing among all the assignments in this class, and why? I mean, it can be anything that that you think that I will be good at doing.
I would say the biggest thing that I would say that you're really good at, I mean, it's just like in the teamwork, like all of like your contributions is, first off, for me as an expressive, like, you're very reinforcing on the ideas that I have. You're supportive, but you also add the value to it, which I think, you know, it's not only, helping you understand how to interact with other people better, but understanding how you can just really add value to more than yourself and really understand people better. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that's
So just facilitate like the conversations and the teamwork.
yeah. I think you're doing really well in the teamwork.
Mm.
And I don't know, now or like the individual assignments. I don't know what you feel like you do the best in. I think I personally do the best in teamwork. Um, but I think that just showed in the results of our work.
Um, okay, so that's you. You kind of jump to next question too. That um, was one thing that you think I did the best in this class and why? You said is it still teamwork or?
I mean, I really like the teamwork. I think you did a great job, you know, developing ideas on top of what they already were. From that first time when we came up with those 21 ideas to the next time when we had to come up with a coin idea to how could we, expand this coin and make a skit out of it, or, how could we take our scavenger hunt ideas and make them a little bit better. Like I remember we had an idea for Amiable for the scavenger hunt. And you were like, no, 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 I think we should go to Salt City instead. And it was actually a much better example. Um, so I just think your ability to add on and create more value
Mhm.
would be, your biggest strength and something that you've done really well.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Last one would be what's one thing that you think I can improve at in this class and why?
Oh, um,
Anything would be good.
sure. I don't really. I mean, I haven't really thought like too hard on that to give you constructive criticism, or it's like not really something that I've noticed.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nothing that like really sticks out to me that like you just like don't do well, if that makes sense. Like I think you're very well rounded
Mm-hmm.
in whether it's group work or maybe even individual work. Yeah, I mean I think everyone does things so differently, so it's hard, for me to critique why you might do something one way when that's kind of how your social style works, how you work, how you function as a person. Um, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it's all good. Yeah, just I try to make more questions for you to easier to answer, and since we have limited knowledge of each other's personalities, other than
Yeah,
interactions in this class. So yeah, all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to. Do we get 20 minutes?
Yes.